All right. What's up, everybody, and welcome back. I've decided, you know what would be fun? I've been talking about 6 worker starts and some of the early skirmish build-up phase that we lost by going to 12 worker starts. And I've said there would be a lot of things we've lost, but also there are a lot of bonuses of 12 worker starts. And I've said, to be fair, let's go back and watch as many games as I possibly can to really, study myself and go, what are the upsides of the old games? What are the downsides? This is 2014, this is Heart of the Swarm. There is nowhere near as many different, units. There's no Ravagers. There's no Liberator in this version of the game. But we do have Life in the top left. And he's going to be playing Taeja. Down to the bottom right, it's I Am Katowice 2014. And we can make it big, but the quality is going to suck no matter what, because they just did not put good quality videos on YouTube back in the day, guys. I think, what's the quality? We've actually got 1080p, but I think it's 30 FPS. We can see there the Katowice big arena as an earlier version of the setup. And it's 1080p, but it doesn't look like 1080p. The bitrate is clearly quite low, but it's decent. If we go any earlier than this time, it's pretty bad, but kind of awesome to see this old event here. Obviously, this is ESL's content, and we are just going to be kind of reacting to it, casting as we go, and really observing the difference. And why are we starting at the start, guys? Because remember, we could skip to 5 minutes, and as long as there's no cheeses that happened, you're not going to miss a lot. And this is the most boring part of old games, right? If you look at this old age of StarCraft 2, I'll put some music on, by the way, it's boring. Not much happens at the start. That being said, there are tiny differences in build orders that really do matter. And it leads to, because the build-up is slower, every bit of tech choice is going to require bigger responses from the other side and be more meaningful. So we are going to be watching Heavy Rain to start. This is a period when the maps were a little bit crazy. There is a destructible rock tower there, I believe, on the top right of that ledge. So on both sides of this canyon in the middle of the map. And if you break it, you can actually, I think, cut off the middle path. We've got Funker, the lovely Frenchman observing, still back here in these days as well. So it should be, I still believe, no offense to anyone else, I still believe Funker probably the best observer we've ever had, because he is, very high level player, really just, maybe it's just because he was such a contrast from everyone else. And we're kind of used to good observers now with Marpu and Indy and everyone else who's done it over the last few years, and Coca for a while and a few other people. But it was such a difference when Funker first became the observer, because he was so good at following the action, and we just hadn't experienced that before. And Fezza was the OG. Oh, I'm so sorry. We were chatting to Phil, Mr. Phil Bertino, Mr. Enfeza, in a Battle Aces chat the other day. He's really keen on Battle Aces. He was the OG, and he was good, but Funker was another level. Like, Enfeza kind of pioneered, hey, I'm a professional observer. Look at the difference when someone does this as their job and really is good at it. But Funker was so good at following like multi-prong action and all sorts of stuff. It really changed the viewership game in those early years of StarCraft 2. Nowadays, you have like 10 different observers on an Overwatch or CS show sometimes. Great micro by Life there as the Reaper jumps to the main base. Taeja's going to dance around. And you can see the difference, guys. So instead of 2 minutes in this happening, it's after 4 minutes when the Reaper stuff comes in. You do have a slower start. It is worse for super casual fans. And it kind of creates the early game being a bit more of a grab a drink, get a beer, get some popcorn. If you miss the first few minutes, it doesn't matter unless you're a really hardcore nerd who cares about the opening build orders. Like, did he go 15 hatchery or 14 hatchery? Did he go pool first or hatchery first? And oh, the Reapers actually got themselves a drone. And double Reaper opening, by the way. I totally forgot people used to ever do this. Gumiho sometimes does this these days. Not many other people, unless they go 2 barracks. They'll go 2 or 3 Reapers, but just being as annoying as he can. Taeja and Life, one of the most famous rivalries. He's going 3 command center behind it with a factory guy. So he's going to play Hellion 3cc off the back of single barracks 3 Reaper. This is old StarCraft, played almost like modern StarCraft. I totally forgot that this was the way it was. Also, oh, chat has a really good point. The old clock was faster. These are old Blizzard seconds. So you can see 46, 47, 48. That's faster than time actually should be running. Oh, the Ling drone surround. You got the Queen, but you lose 2 Reapers. Was that worth it? I'm not quite sure. Where's the Reaper grenade, says chat. I don't think the Reaper grenade existed in this version, right? It came back in Legacy of the Void, I believe. But in Heart of the Swarm at this stage, I don't even know if they had a different attack in Heart of the Swarm on buildings, because they had that initially. The Reaper grenade was like an alternate attack they used to kill buildings quickly in the beginning of StarCraft 2, but I don't think there was any grenade. Now, this is so cool because this is so much like a modern opening, guys. Yeah, Hellion Reaper 3cc. This is actually cool, man. Third hatchery only now going down at almost 7 minutes for life. Like I said, obviously that game timer is what it is. The anti-building attack was only there in Wings of Liberty, says Sprint F. Guys, I was playing in this time. I played it. You can find videos of me playing both of these guys in tournaments on the ladder. And I don't even remember that well because it was 10 years ago. So actually, I don't know if I ever played Taeja in a tournament. I know I played him on the ladder a bunch of times. There's like a 360 pixel video ripped from my stream somewhere on my YouTube channel, probably unlisted at this point because I didn't want to have videos of such low quality in my catalog. If I go back through all my unlisted videos, I can probably find games of me versus Taeja. You can find games of me versus Life from DreamHack Summer 2013. We played at 2 a.m. because tournaments used to not really run to schedule. And unfortunately, he did beat me 2-1. But I was very happy to take a map off the guy who was the best player in the world at the time, even though we were both very sleepy. And trying to play Lingbane Micro with Life was not a good idea. Let's put it that way, guys. I beat him in the Roach vs. Roach game, but in the Lingbane Wars that I tried to play with him, it was I was a little outclassed. Now, third command center lands, we've got Cloaked Banshees coming in. Behind this, Stim into Double Engineering Bay. Notice, Double Engineering Bay before second and third barracks. This is a big difference. In the modern day, you always go second and third barracks, then the Double Engineering Bay, so that you can hit like a really crisp marine timing. Back in these days, it was like, hey dude, my Banshees haven't even attacked yet. We need to just start the upgrades going. The marine stage with Stim and Medevacs is going to be much later in the game if you open up like this. So you'd have a much more prolonged Hellion Banshee phase, which is doing a ton of damage right now. Dude, he killed all the Zerglings. There's not that many queens. Life is playing a low queen style. He should not have got his Zerglings roasted there. He's in trouble now. He's got an Overseer in the main. He's trying to go Spire and his own 1-1 upgrades behind this. He's 200 resources behind the units lost right now. He did kill a few. I mean, it's a big Hellion Banshee commitment, and he's going to get it. One more hit. Oh, if Taeja went up to the right, he might have kept that alive, but losing that Banshee is big. Other Banshees down here. Cloak is ready, of course, as we saw earlier. But looks like those SCVs going to pull back. There is a bunker with Marines in it. Third base, a little exposed, and it looks like the Hellions will be forced to pull home to defend. So Life survives without any drone damage, but he did have to build a lot of Zerglings. And oh, big mistake for Taeja, moving the Marines out of the bunker to help defend the third. But with good Hellion Reaper Micro, he should be able to take care of this. Oh, I say he should be able to. Maybe, maybe not. That Hellion Micro, it's okay. It's not perfect. Oh, Clem would have something to say about these, the micro and mechanics in the old days, that's for sure. And don't get me wrong, players weren't as good, even here in 2014, where they were clearly very good. But I think if you look at like modern mechanical Clem, he would have pulled those SCVs probably completely away. And micro the Hellion just a little bit better, but it is what it is. I think both players are still exceptional. Mutalisk coming out 1-1, Overlord speed, +1 air weapons, Baneling Nest coming in for the delayed Baneling speed, and Creep trying to spread out through that middle area of the map. 3 base for Zerg, 3 base for Terran. I'd be worried as the Zerg player if your Mutalisks can't find damage, but those Mutas are going to hit. Remember, he went Hellion Banshee, doesn't have turrets up yet. He does have Stim, but the Marine count's pretty low, and oh, he does have turrets, never mind. He's got the turrets up. Mutalisks work pretty standard at this stage. And one of the things you'll notice, because they're not able to get super fast 4th and 5th bases up, is we usually did get stuck on lair tech against like 3 base Terran for a massive period. And actually, Taeja's going to go vehicle weapons, so he might be thinking already about upgrading Thors. He's building Hellbats! He's not building Widow Mines, he's playing Hellbat style. Guys, Flash pioneered this style in StarCraft 2, I would say. And couldn't win with it. He'd get to the finals, but he couldn't win. Surely Widow Mines are the play, Taeja. Widow Mines were all the rage in 2013, for a lot of 2014 as well. I know they got nerfed and then buffed at a few points. He does have a few Widow Mines out here, and he is back to Widow Mines now, so he just mixed a few Hellbats in. Wriggle says this game was when the Widow Mines were nerfed. Okay, so the Widow Mines had, I think, much smaller damage radius at this time, because people got too tilted at them just like doing such big explosions. But then they were like kind of weak for a while, and then they think they put them back to their initial area, right? There's a lot of kind of umming and ahhing on different balance changes for units like the Widow Mine that have been a bit controversial historically. Widow Mine should defend those Banelings. You can see there's no tracking line on what the Widow Mine's targeting at this point, let alone the Widow Mine turning red, you know, or highlighting the unit, no thick red beam, no attack alert. So a lot of those quality of life changes weren't in. Keep in mind, there's also no control group stealing in this version of StarCraft. There is no way for you to actually steal units off a control group. You would have to remake your initial control group, which is such a chore. And that didn't come in until Legacy of the Void in end of 2015, start of 2016. Widow Mines on the front, they're a bit far forward. He doesn't detonate the Banelings. I think a modern Zerg probably would have detonated those Banelings on those 2 Widow Mines, but good hot pickup and unload. Mutalisk trying to clean up the Widow Mines. But Life's got to be careful. You can see they're dead even in supply. Taeja's actually ahead 160 to 155. He's got to get rid of these Widow Mines before they recharge. Oh, he gets the medevac! So close, so close, so close. Taeja with a hot pickup and a save. Reinforcements arrive. Oh, you do not want to fight that, Taeja. Oh, sorry, Life. Taeja with the 2 Hellbats on the front. I like that he's mixing Hellbats with Blue Flame and Widow Mines. And he's going Thors to deal with those Mutalisks as well. Marauders in the mix. I think Taeja just had too greedy of a start. No, he hasn't taken any real economic damage. If he gets rid of this 4th base, it's lights out for Life. Life needs some magic to happen right now. +2 vehicle weapons on the way. Oh, +2 vehicle weapons allows Thors to 2-shot Mutalisks with their splash damage mode rather than 3-shot, which is why he wants +2 vehicle weapons so early. This is like players getting +2 ship weapons in modern StarCraft for Liberators against Protoss. That's why he's going +2 vehicle weapons so early. Very cool, guys. I totally forgot that this was the dynamic. Now, the Hellbats are really good at killing Zerglings. They suck versus Banelings. So you need to spread them out as much as possible, or they will just get blown up by the Banelings. So Taeja should be pre-splitting a little bit more. He's got to be careful about getting intercepted as well as those Mutalisks. Go for the counterattack, going to use their mobility. Life rolls a Bitterling Bane forward on the front, clears up a few Hellbats there, but as the Marines pull off creep, Taeja takes a decent fight. This 4th base in jeopardy, not much creep there. There's something in the top right of the map. If that's a Marine drop, that could come in and maybe do some damage. Some blue dot in the top right of the minimap. I don't know exactly what it is though. Meanwhile, interception on the rally once again. Mutalisks keep engaging here. The Marines trying to bait these Banelings off creep. Taeja trying to focus on spreadies rather than focus fire. And that's something you'll notice. Unlike the modern Beyond Micro or Clem Micro, where they stand and focus the Banelings, no one did this in 2014 the way they do in the modern age. Now, you could argue that's because the Banelings are nerfed now, but even before the Baneling hit points got nerfed, you got to remember the modern micro of the freaks like Beyond and Clem is insane when it comes to focusing those units down. And I don't think Taeja, MVP, Maru, anyone who was playing at the top of the Terran back then could really do this. Nice mass repair, but he's going to lose a lot of SCVs to the bounce damage. What cost, though? Marines are popping out. You got to get out of here, Life. Not able to take out the turret. Loses a few Mutalisks for a few SCVs. Good defensive trade for Taeja, whose 4th Command Center, by the way, has just started. In the midst of all of this, his 4th Command Center has just started. Life has not had the room to take a 5th base behind this. In fact, his 4th base is barely mining. Life desperately trying to pull Taeja around, because if Taeja can push the front and defend at the same time, he should be in a really good spot. Also, he's starting +3 weapons, +3 armor for his infantry, whereas there is no hive anywhere to be seen for Life. I don't think Life even has an infestation, but he's on 75 drones against 60 workers. 75 drones! Maybe there's more workers on that left base than I can see on the minimap, and it's just the bad pixelation. It's either that, or Life is massively oversaturated. Yeah, he's massively oversaturated on his first 3 bases. Oh no! Life. Oh, also, you got to remember, back in these days, the bases didn't mine out. So that main base is still fully mining. 19 minutes into the game, guys. And it will be mining until like 25 minutes or so before it mines out. I could be wrong on the exact timer in this old game time, but it's very late in the game before that base mines out, which means you're still getting 66 workers of value way, way deeper into the game. Whereas in Legacy of the Void, you have to expand. You see, looks like he's going to transfer now out of that main. Because, okay, so the mineral patches do mine out all about 18 to 19 minutes. Okay, good to know. 18 to 19 minutes. I was a bit off on that. I thought it would be like 22, 23, 24. +3 vehicle weapons on the way. The Thors will now be 2-shotting Mutalisks, guys. No worker count above the base either at this point. No, there is not, I don't believe. But maybe you could turn it on. But maybe they just didn't have the setting on for this tournament. I don't think bases showed the worker count. You also couldn't hover over the supply to see your worker count, guys. So the way you kept track of your workers is you'd box the workers in the mineral line, and you'd look at your wireframe, your command card, and you could see how many rows there were. So it's actually a lot of things which the players had to do a lot more manually back in these days, which I would say isn't necessarily good in of itself, but it did mean the players played less perfectly for sure, because it was just harder to do things. Lingbane Muta coming forward on that right side. Here we go. Muta's going to dive in the mineral line, getting a bunch of SCVs. He's going to massive Baneling multi-prong. Marines trying to defend there. There is no way you defend this base. Spread the SCVs. The Banelings actually turn around there. Feels like Taeja's a bit too ready for it. Life's getting dropped behind this. That's part of why he's distracted. A hatchery kill, not a cancel. And damn, this is actually really good StarCraft, guys. Neither side getting up 5th bases, 6th bases. Hive is now just starting here, 20 minutes into this game. Baneling's going back in. The SCVs just went back to mine. Taeja does react. And actually, good defense for Taeja. Yeah, he loses a few Marines. Super worth it. They're happy to sacrifice those themselves for those SCVs. Now, I do think Taeja needs to try and split his army half and half. Problem, with no Widow Mines and his Thors being very mobile, it's kind of tough. I think he should probably break these rocks on the middle right path and start trying to branch forward. He's got sensor towers. You can see how far the old sensor towers see. Literally just sees so much of the map. It is crazy how much radius they cover. Now, 12 Marauders, 12 Hellbats, 3 Marauders, a bunch of Marines. He needs more Marauders, more barracks are building, so I think he's going to get more Tech Lab barracks in the mix. And a few Marines, Hellbats, and a Thor, as well as some missile turrets on that right side. But if he pushes, he might get surrounded. This is the classic. Terran commits to a push, and Life is going to come in for a big surround. You got to watch out for that rock tower as well. I'm pretty sure that rock tower can collapse to block off that ramp. Banelings roll in. 3rd base cleared of workers. Hellbats, Marauders, Marines trying to fight against these Banelings. The Banelings, Zerglings get shredded by the Hellbats. Yes, a lot of the Hellbats go down. Taeja's going to pull back, wait for more Hellbats and maybe Widow Mines as well to get in the mix here. So much APM for both sides. You can see their keyboards just hitting away furiously. And Taeja, please step on the creep, says Twitch chat. We want to see Life go for a big surround, man. This is interesting. Building armors coming in. Vehicle plating, +2 carapace, +3 melee as well. 8 Marine drop going to go down the left side of the map right now. Ooh. Okay, Thor's cleaning up the Banelings. Nice. Banelings, oh, getting gunned down. Okay, look at that. Marines on the top right. Muters come in, though. The 3rd base is going to go down. If he's not careful, Banelings roll in the front. They get a big hit on the Marines while he's microing in so many places at once. Here's Taeja. Taeja's going to force the fight in the middle, but I don't know if he has a big enough army there. He does kill the 5th base yet again. He's got something on the left. Marine drop on the left, or Marine run by. Gets taken up by the spine and the Zerglings. Thors need to get out of there. Pick up and get out, Taeja. Get out. Save him. Get to the cliff. Get to the high ground. Get to the cliff. He's going to get there. Okay, he will get to the high ground. The Thors get out of there. Big save there for Taeja. 140 versus 145 supply. Hive is now done for the Zerg. I don't think he got Adrenal Glands. He does have 3-3 on the way. Terran is up 3-3 to 2-2 right now, but he's struggling with the multi-prong of Zerg. And where do you take a 5th base as well? Keep in mind, this is another thing on these old maps. Their 5th bases are so exposed. Your bases did mine out slower, but your 5th bases were so exposed. Whereas it's kind of funny because we've pressed players in Legacy to expand faster, but we've also generally made the expansions easier to get, easier to take. The bases are cheaper comparatively because you get extra supply for them. So you kind of get like, it's the same cost, right? 400 for a command center or Nexus, 300 for a hatchery, but you get 6 supply for the hatchery. You used to only get 2. You get 15 supply for a command center or Nexus. You only used to get 10. So you do kind of get like, you do get a bit more supply in there. It is like a little bit cheaper to expand. And even though the bases mine out faster and you have to expand faster in modern map design and with the modern resource count, it does change the flow of the game quite a bit in that regard, where in this case, it was like getting that 5th base was sometimes like a mythical thing back in Heart of the Swarm, man. Yes, that main's mined out. You got the 4th, but it's really very much about fighting in this stage of the game. And people would often say because there was the creep control that forced Terran to be aggressive and deny the creep, it made the game more interesting because there was still a push and pull, but maybe like ZVP and sometimes the other matchups would get a little bit more boring because you didn't need to expand as much and you could turtle. So it's kind of fascinating to look at the different matchups throughout the ages and how they've evolved and what's good and what's bad. Looks like he wants to burrow Banelings, but I don't know if he forgot to get Burrow maybe. Banelings get a decent connect, but still 5 Marines left alive. Wounded though. Try to push that right side. Those Marines going to pick up and pull away. 5th command center is building for Taeja. I think for Taeja, he probably wants to take one of the middle command centers because then he can push and defend at the same time. Oh, Life just panic hit the button. He just misclicked. Detonate Banelings. Oh no. Taeja with like a bit of a grin on his face. Oh my god, but he makes a mistake now as well. Oh, he loses 4 medevacs for free. Oh my lord. Big mistake. Someone in the chat earlier when I brought this game up said, oh, detonate Banelings, lol. And I didn't know they were, I was like, what are they talking about? Because I'm like, there's no way someone randomly remembers in Twitch chat a Baneling detonate in a 24, no, apparently they do. The quarterfinals of Katowice 2014, and you guys remembered that move. Well done. Some internet historians in the chat. Okay, Banelings, good dodge on the Banelings. There's not enough Banelings. If he can, I mean, he's deep on creep though. He wants to force the issue now because so many Banelings died. Oh, bad spreads here for Taeja. Bad micro for Taeja. Bad micro for Taeja. Really bad micro for Taeja. This is really bad. He got excited. He's throwing. No, Taeja. He saw Life made a massive mistake, and then he just shoved his Marines up the ramp. They were blocked. They couldn't all pull back there. They were blocked partially by the Marauders. He took some terrible Baneling hits. He should have been pre-spreading, guys. You should never be stimming forward with that much of your army on creep. Oh, a classic Terran mistake for Taeja in Life. Baits Taeja by throwing away all of his Banelings with a misclick, and then he's winning the game now because of it. He's winning the game because of it. Missile turret gets a few hits on the Mutalisks. Taeja, oh, forcing his way up that. He didn't even need to force his way up that ramp. Like, he thought he could get the win, but oh, he got a bit too aggressive there. 5th base is up for Taeja, though. And that's a big problem for Zerg. Zerg cannot let that 5th base survive. Oh, these Marines are stimming themselves into the red, though, because Taeja's lost so many medevacs. Oh, no, Taeja's reeling right now, guys. He's making mistakes. He's making mistakes. Mutalisks. Oh my god, they're causing problems. Baneling's rolling into the bio on the right side as well. Taeja. Oh no, Taeja. Oh no. He's making a few mistakes right now. Life's got that Mutalisk pack up in amongst him, and he is finding the value. SCVs and tanks go down. Banelings kill the planetary on the right side. Oh man, dude. I forgot how fun Heart of the Swarm ZVT really was. These Mutalisks dancing around. Taeja needs to knuckle down on his defense and just stabilize. This is crazy. This is crazy. Mutalisks going to bounce away as well. Terrans used to whine so hard about Mutalisks and how overpowered they are. Chat's mentioning. Yeah, for sure they did. Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, Zergs whined about Widow Mines really hard. Terrans whined about Mutalisks because they actually got a movement or an acceleration and regen boost in Heart of the Swarm from Wings of Liberty. But Medevacs also got their boost upgrade as well. So it was kind of interesting to see how it was just faster paced once we hit Heart of the Swarm from Wings. Massling going into the 3rd base. Bio counterattack, finding a massively oversaturated base. Oh, but the Lings are getting in. It's base trade time. Dude, base trade used to be so common in StarCraft 2. Taeja's going to come home. He says, I killed your most important base. I'm going to run home. But that's it. Command Center's going to burn down in the natural by the looks of it. There's Massling Muta on top of the production. He does find these drones. Oh, that's going to ruin Life's attempt to come back if this turns into a longer macro game. Orbital on the right side, though. Lings find it. Life doing massive damage. But Taeja still has that big Terran army coming home. Big Terran army plus mules. It's scary. A couple Reapers being built right now. That's a misclick for sure. Planetary on that side doing well. Muta's still dancing around. We've got Taeja reeling. He's really just struggling. Banelings, not enough to kill the Planetary. He kill the SCVs, and he will do just that. Kill a bunch of those SCVs. The Planetary does survive, though, which is the important thing. Marines and Hellbats guarding that right side. 19 workers for Terran, 27 for Zerg. What a start to a quarterfinals this is, guys. Game 1 in a best of 5. Hot diddly damn. Mules go down. Marines and Thors are ready to defend the base. But Taeja, you got to stabilize in your main base as well. You can't just defend one angle. And he knows it. And his Marines will be there. He's got medevacs nearby. Finally getting rid of this Overlord that's been chilling in his main base all game. And with a Thor there as well, could be big, but he doesn't have high ground vision. Needs the medevac there as well. Does Taeja to shoot at those Mutalisks. Lings on the right side coming in. The bio is ready to deal with it. But, oh, they're getting distracted by the Banelings. And he's not quite on top of these SCVs. That is big damage for Life, but Life's supply is so low. Life's income. Life was always a guy who, as the bitrate just goes to hell, Life has always been a player who would just be like, I'm going to focus on my micro. He was never a perfect macro player. He was always kind of clutch, YOLO, multi-prong, chaotic, player. He was good at all-hitting, good at shoving units in, pretty good multitasking, but not like the modern players that are so much more macro-focused. He was always like, I'm going to make it scrappy. I'm going to make it down and dirty. I'm going to try and get you with like burrowed Zerglings. Look at that. Drags the Widowmine into the SCVs of those 2 Zerglings. Burrowed Banes, maybe, the way to get himself back in this game. He's still got minerals on that left base, but that's about it. His main natural and 3rd are mined out. His 4th is the only base that's mining, whereas Taeja has multiple bases to drop mules on, even though he did lose 1 or 2. I think he lost 1 orbital. He's got 2 orbitals and a planetary right now. Thor getting a good shot off. Remember, it can 2-shot those Mutalisks. Actually, they have +1. Oh no, they have +1 carapace, but look at that. He magic boxes to hold positions in a big spread, so the Thor splash isn't hitting many Mutalisks at all. I'm not sure if the Thor Splash had been nerfed at this point. It didn't look like it was hitting too much there. The Bio counter attack again. He cancels the 5th base, but don't go on creep, Taeja. Go home. Don't go on creep. Taeja's going to try and force the issue. There's no mining left for the Zerg. You have mules. You don't need to do this. It could work, though. He's got a big supply advantage, but oh my god, he just took a crazy Baneling to the face. As I told you guys, this is not going to be Clem or Beyond Micro. Burrowed Banelings. Watch out, Taeja. Oh my gosh, Life running away, trying to burrow Banelings right now, trying to burrow Banelings, but Taeja avoids them. There's 2 more right there in front of the hatchery. Life desperately trying to bait him into the Banelings. He's trying to keep this hatchery alive. It's his last little bit of income. The Banelings aren't able to connect, and it looks like Taeja, with the counterattack, as well as floating some command centers across the map, in case they go full base trade, will be able to win a crazy game when he scans, gets rid of a few of these Banelings that were burrowed there. There's still a few more up north, but Life is actually only down 10 supply. I can't believe it. If the Mutas take out the command centers, you could maybe win a base trade. Oh my gosh. Life's making 9 more Banelings, and he's going to have Burrow. If you get rid of the command centers, there's no detection. No command centers, no detection. Burrowed Banelings maybe could do it. At the same time, I don't think you have any drones left. No, you've got 3 Harvesters versus 0 SCVs. This is a game of StarCraft. It wasn't buffed. This was pre-Thor's being good, says Wriggle. Wait. Are you telling me Thor's started bad, then they made it good? I think you're thinking about the armor buff, right, Wriggle? I'm talking about the splash damage, the splash radius. But was the splash radius initially small and then they made it good at some point in Heart of the Swarm, did they? Because Wriggle's like an internet historian. He actually he remembers all the patches. This man has like a photographic memory when it comes to StarCraft patches. Apparently the splash was just way worse back then. It was maybe in 2015 or something. They made it a bit better to help deal with the Mutalisks. Interesting. So if the Mutas clump up a lot, the Thors will smash them if they do what he just did there. But otherwise, they're not that great. Interesting. The splash was small, and they didn't target air by default. Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah, so if there's Zerglings or Banelings around, they'll just target them. Whereas they changed it so the Thor automatically prioritizes just shooting air units because of this interaction. Oh, Starport goes down, but mules. Mules are a problem. Mules are... Yeah, look at this, guys. Taeja just floats all of his buildings around. Oh, dude. I think Taeja's got it as long as he stays calm. And honestly, I feel like at multiple points in this game, he should have had it if he just stayed calm. I think if I look at this with the eyes of a modern understanding of StarCraft 2, I think Taeja was ahead for most of this game. And he's kind of been not throwing, but not as calm as like, not even, you don't even need to be Clem. Like Clem's obviously a crazy level, but I'm saying like, even if Hero Marine was in this game, I think he would have just like so many points, not shoved on creep, not thrown his Marines away to Banelings, pre-spread his army a bit better, set up better Mutalist anti-defenses, even though the bases are spread out. And I think that's just because the players, I think, realize now, like, hey, look, this Zerg's got like 1 or 2 mining bases. You're going to trade better in the long run as long as you don't dive on creep. Don't let the Lingbane Muta make it chaotic. Like, double down on those defenses. Also, argument, shouldn't he have taken this base in the middle from the start instead of the 5th on the far left? I think there's an argument behind this should have been the base he was always aiming for his 5th. Because then he can defend the 4th on the right and this base in a very similar position and push and punish the 5th of life at the same time. All right, remember guys, there's no income. Life's long distance mining with like 3 drones right now. He's trying to find a way where there's a will, there's a way. I mean, he's picking off Marines. Like, the problem is you've got supply drops coming down, you got Marines building, you got double mules dropping. I remember back in this time, mule mined, I think 250 or 275 minerals for each mule. Widow Mine gets another Mutalisk. That's massive. 20 kill Commander Widow Mine. Wow. Yeah, Mutalisk had extra regen in Heart of the Swarm already at this point. He's going to go for a Marine drop to make sure Life's not building up behind this. It's just so much production still alive. Chat says mules are BS. Also mines are BS. Yeah, I mean, if you don't have any economy and you don't protect it, you're going to have to GG. And that's what Life does there. Taeja looks stressed. He's like, oh my lord. This guy's hard to beat, man. Very nice play. Very nice play there. Dude, I love seeing the old audience as well. Nanua thought it was a best of 1. I love it. Even when Life and Taeja are playing, you got the Nanua hate signs in the audience. Oh, man. He was very controversial at this time, eh? All right, guys. Going into game 2. Looks like Life did an extractor trick to get up above 10 supply. 11 out of 10 there. after building his Overlord, and then 13 supply. Now, this is going to be Yonsu, guys. A map that is very cramped for Zerg. Lots of cliffs, lots of ledges. Easily abusable with tanks, marines, and it's going to be tough for life to macro on this map. Probably going to be very counterattack focused, very backstab focused, maybe throw out a cheese as well. I believe this is a map where you had a ramp up the side of your natural, or 2 ramps up to your natural. It's a really weird map, and I mean, it was very small as well and very cramped. Now, keep in mind, guys, a little bit of context from Riglinium, our StarCraft historian in the chat. He said, keep in mind, Yonsu was a cool map. I have good memories of it, but this is also when Terran was incredibly bad at this point in balance. Right when this game was played is when there was 3 out of 32 players in the GSL Code S that were Terran. 3 out of 32, literally less than 10%. That is insane. And apparently, like, this was like Blink was dominating in PvT, and also players like, I don't know if Zerg vs Terran was really super good for Zerg, but I think because the Widowmine had been nerfed, and players like Life and stuff had figured out how to play Lingbane Muta really well, the top Zergs were doing very well versus Terran. But I think this was the meta where Protoss was obliterating Terran and Zerg was doing well versus Terran. So apparently this series I've looked up was actually kind of a low point for Terran in terms of balance and performance, and Taeja was one of the few guys who was able to make like a sort of top 8 run at this time. Wriggle says, during this period, True learned that you could make 70 Banelings in a move and nothing could kill them. Just because there was no Widow Mines, eh? Damn. And the Widow Mines didn't look too bad in that last game, but definitely not the explosive splash we're looking for on the Bigling Bane armies, I guess. +3 Blue Flame Hellbats. I do think they were one-shotting Zerglings for Taeja in that last game. But like I said, there was a few moments where his micro, I mean, he was some of the best micro at the time. He's once again going to do a 3 Reaper opening off of 1 Barracks to get some pressure up, slow down the creep spread, and see what pickoffs he can get. Life there does delay the inject a little to initially defend, but we'll see what happens. At this time, mines only killed units within a 1.25 radius. Anything bigger than that, 1.25 to 1.75, was 10 to 20 damage only. Whereas the modern mine and the mine after it got kind of put back to its initial state, it just, anything in that whole 1.75 radius it would kill. Okay, yeah, so they kind of tried to make it have like kind of like a siege tank where the damage falls off over time. Yeah. All right, this looks like pretty good defense. Once again, we're going to see same sort of opening for Taeja, right? Hellion Banshee. It's a small map for it. I kind of want to see Life doing something aggro. He's going to go double gas here. Just before 6 minutes, so he's been gasless up to this point. Double gas. He does see the second gas of Taeja, letting him know Cloak Banshees are definitely possible. But Taeja swaps back, and he says, I'm just going to build Marines now. So I think he said, look, you know Hellions are coming, so I'm actually not going to bother with the Hellions. Very interesting. This is weird, because you've already committed to the starport. What are we just doing? Marine Banshee? Like, or does he go Raven here or something weird? I don't know. I'm not sure. There's a weird high-level 300 IQ build adaptation coming in for Taeja. And actually, Life's going Roaches, probably to counter the Hellions. And I was thinking, this map's kind of small. I don't think Hellions is a good choice. And Lair as well. Is he going to do a Roach speed all-in? Oh, he might. 2 Lings delaying CC by dodging the 3rd Reaper is kind of nuts. Yeah, very, very high level there. I should have mentioned that. Sorry, guys. Oh, Creep Tumor Snipe, not bad. Reaper gets in, Reaper gets out. Viking on the way. Okay, so it's going to be Viking and then just straight to Stim. So we're going to see double Engineering Bay once again, 2 more Barracks, but because Taeja's saving money on Hellions, he's going to rush up to the Marine stage of the game. It'd be better if he went 2nd and 3rd Barracks. He does lose a Reaper there to the Queens, which is a little sloppy. Because he's going double Engineering Bay, the problem he's going to run into is he might die. That being said, 3 Roaches into Ling speed. What is Life's build order? This is such a weird build. I think maybe he's just building Roaches to defend the Hellions, and otherwise he's still going to play a macro Ling Bane game. Because it's weird to go Lair and Roaches and Ling speed here. It makes me wonder. Yeah, he's back to droning. So he's not going to do anything aggressive. This is the Pult Viking, as people would call it. A Viking you would build just to deny scouting. Pult apparently popularized that. Isn't that funny? That seems like such a standard thing. Just building a Viking to deny scanning, but we're calling it the Pult Viking. I forgot that we used to have a name. He's like, he's the first guy who decided building a starport just to make it a Viking to hunt overlords was worth it. Whereas everyone else like, no, if you make a starport, you gotta make banshees. You know, you gotta commit to something, right? And yes, double Evo Baneling tech. Wait, he's making roach speed his life. He's only made 3 roaches. He's gonna go Roachling Bane. He's gonna go the July Zerg comp. Now, for those who don't know, July Zerg is a famous StarCraft 1 player Zerg who is known for being a cheesy bastard. He's not really known for ever being good at macro. He won a golden mouse, much to the chagrin of anyone who enjoys macro and strategic decision-making as opposed to A-moving and doing all-ins. But yeah, when he played StarCraft 2, he just A-moved Roach Bane every game, never spread a single creep tumor. To be fair, Life's actually spreading creep, and he is going Mutalist as well. But one has to question the roach speed decision there. If you're only making 3 roaches, I guess he's making 3 more now? I don't know, it seems like a very wide spread of resource investment, guys. Roaches, Lings, Banes, and Mutas, not my favorite, but I guess if you're dealing with someone who's gone Hellbats, the roaches are going to make it awkward for him to engage. Like, he's going to have to stim his bio forward when your roaches engage, and then you can roll forward with your banelings, and then he has to stim back from the banelings, and then you go in with your roaches and you pull your own banelings back. So they could create a bit of a micro dance. So maybe that's what Life's thinking of doing here, and then the Mutalisks will be more of like a lower priority follow-on. Another Overlord goes down. Viking with 3 kills. We'll pull back now. Gonna break these rocks to get to his 4th base, guys. That's right. This map is like, do you want a 4th base that's really easy to kill? No? Oh, you want... Okay, well, you take it in the corner. That's fine. Normal 4th base. You have to kill rocks to get to it. So... Welcome to Heart of the Swarm. Zergling's coming in, gonna try and get themselves a few SCVs. Ling, Roach attack. A bit more of a poke than a full-on attack, but could still do some damage. Tank, oh, bad tank siege. Very bad tank siege, guys. He should not have sieged that tank because it stopped him from raising the wall. And now Taeja getting surprised by what can best be described as a random assault of Roach Zergling. I don't, this is Life in a nutshell. Life was one of the biggest gamblers ever. Even before he got in gambling troubles and threw matches for money, you could just look at his playstyle. Like, what was he doing here? That, like, this guy was the greatest Zerg in the world at this time, arguably the greatest player in the world, and that was the most nonsense attack I've ever seen in my life. That, like, running in with the Lings made sense. The Roaches made 0 sense. That was crazy, especially when you haven't seen Hellions. So you know you've been tricked into kind of building Roaches here. It means Taeja's going to have Bio, Stim, Medevac tanks out earlier than normal. I mean, yes, some of his Marines moved out on the map, but the Roaches are not fast enough to take advantage of that, whereas the Lings potentially were. Now Taeja's in an amazing position. If Life gets out of trouble here, I will be amazed. It looks like he's going to go down 0-2 in this series, if you ask me, but Life is a wizard. He's building 12 more drones, 14 more drones. My lord. Taeja too far on the map, though. Where are his reinforcements? He's having a stim way back. He's got to spread. His Medevac's going down to the Mutalisks. Ling Bane chasing him back. Spread. The Baneling's getting some decent connections. The Medevac's getting low, but Mutalisks are taking damage. And Taeja salvages that situation. Takes a lot of Mutalisks out, and that was worthwhile. Now, Life loses 4 Mutas, 10 Roaches, 5 Banelings, 56 Zerglings. He is still up in supply, which he was almost never up in that last game. Who knows? Maybe he can salvage this. He's got good creep on the right side of the map. I'd love to see Life spread creep on the left as well. But we've got second factory, going up to 8 barracks, all coming in now for Taeja. So Taeja's going to add the extra concussive shell, Marauder production, Blue Flame, second factory, Thors as well. This is awesome. It's funny watching this, being used to seeing Clem play all the time. Yeah, well, Clem is, the thing is, Clem has taken mechanical play to another level, but keep in mind, the maps are also more standard. Things are easier to do because you have control group stealing now. You didn't have this back then. People hadn't figured out all the repeat rate adjustments we have these days as well. Little hotkey setups with like rapid fire. A lot of people wouldn't have used rapid fire for things they use these days to like quickly drop mules. They would have gone button press, button press, button press. So the players did play a harder game than they do today. And you're dealing also with maps that are bizarre, weird maps. Maps these days much more standardized. So Clem is objectively better than these guys. Don't get me wrong. I would not argue against that. I would just say it's maybe not as extreme as it looks when you realize that these players are playing with a different tool set to what Clem's playing with these days. So keep that one in mind, as much as I will be the first to say Clem's got way better micro than Taeja. Taeja at his peak, nowhere near the Clem control. Clem has done things we've never seen before mechanically. Baneling rolling in, really nicely done. Marauders and Marines trying to pull back. Marines coming forward. Chat says also a lot of decisions and compositions were actually different for a very good reason. Interesting. You mean like different in different situations or just like back in this era? Or do you mean like this era had a different main style to modern days main style, right? I think is what you mean. Because yeah, I think definitely different unit comps were better. Like Widowmine was not that strong, which is why they're using Blue Flame, right? Blue Flame Hellbats. Mass Zergling. Hive's actually coming up at a good time. I like that Life's just got a massive Ling Bane supply. He's trying to surround to the left side. But good pullback for Life as the Marines did all arrive. I do think if Taeja could spread a few Widowmines around the map, it would really help out. Kind of hard to play both units at once though. Widowmines and Hellbats. Makes your army pretty complicated. +2 Virgo weapons on the way. 3/3. I don't think Life got Flyer Carapace, guys. And if he doesn't get that, his Mutalisk is going to get 2 shot by the Thors. On the other hand, Thor splash damage sucks, and they're going to attack Zerglings a lot of the time. Army supply is dead even. Overlord Snipe does go down there. Life's going to need to rebuild that, and he does. He finds the command center floating down. No, pull it back, pull it back, pull it back. Okay, the Marines. The Marines and Thors get there in time to save it. And Taeja's going to take this forward command center. And Taeja, I want to see him spread his units a bit more. Notice that Taeja keeps his whole army together. This is the problem Clem had until the last year and a half, which is he's too clumped, he's too clumped, he's too clumped. Spread. He's got a pre-spread. Oh my God, he's too clumped. This is what I'm talking about. This is, oh my Lord, the Banelings. Just so many Banelings, tasteless. So many Banelings. No, he's going to get the command center, isn't he? He gets the command center. Oh my Lord. You're also going to notice we don't have damaged health bars on, guys. I think this was a period where they decided it was more hype to not see health bars. So only when Funker clicks on things are health bars being shown. Which is, I don't mind it too much. Some people hate this. They can't stand it. I'm like, I don't think it's optimal. I think it's okay. But that 4th base getting denied, I think Taeja's just dead now. Looks like he was a bit too far behind from the opening, to be fair. Maybe he should have stuck to the Hellions. I don't know, dude. But Life just with way too much of a supply advantage on Yonsu. Fighting back against Taeja, man. The random Roach Ling attack maybe did more damage than we realized. Keep in mind, those Widowmines have so much reduced splash damage. That's why Terrans had lost belief in them at this point. They did get nerfed, rebuffed to the original Widowmine that we remember from most of Widowmine history. 2015? Later this year in 2014, maybe? I can't remember when it was. It was. I don't think they were in this state for too long. But Terran was in a very bad state at this time. So it is rough for Taeja trying to hang on here against Life. It was later in 2014. We have confirmation from chat. Oh, Baneling's rolling forward. Oh, no, he's not watching. Oh, he actually pulls back with the Marines. But his SCVs are still a little clumped. They lose about 5 or 6 of them. Not too bad. Oh, more units get caught on the right. Life, he's got the money to spare now. He can just roll units in from every side. Life's on 5 bases. Taeja with a bit of a drippy drop, I think, on the right side, or left side of the map. But oh no, the missile turret's gonna go down. He doesn't get the repair in time. Even if he did, that's so many Mutalisks. I don't know if it would have worked. Marine drop goes on the counterattack. He's trying to F2 his army home right now. But that 3rd base is under assault, and he cannot afford to lose another command center. Though, he's going to get the Mutalisks. Kills a few Mutas. Nice defense, but Lings are into his main base. Marine drop gets cleaned up by Hellbats. Thor gets surrounded by Zerglings. Oh, Thors hate being surrounded by Zerglings, guys. That's like fighting 12 children that have no fear of pain at once. Maybe not 12, like 20, 26. Imagine if there was like 26 10-year-olds fighting you, but they don't care about pain or dying. Like you think, oh, I could take a 10-year-old easily. But imagine if there's 26 of them. That's being a Thor surrounded by Zerglings, that is. You know, if they're just willing to give themselves for the swarm, you know, they're gonna rip you down. They're gonna kick you in the shins until you fall over, and then they're gonna stab you in the eye sockets. Marines trying to deal with these Banelings. Muta's getting hammered. Oh, bad fight. Life! What are we doing? Is this detonating the Banelings 2.0? What was that? What was that, mate? He just threw his army into the meat grinder. Oh, my Lord. I don't think he detonated his Banelings. He just didn't have many of them and ran them into the Marines, I'm pretty sure. I don't know. Maybe you guys can clarify. Maybe he did it a second time. Ultra just got focused down. It's 3-3 against 2-2. But Banelings, run, pick up. Hot pickup does save most of the Marines. Thor goes down on the left side. He's got to get out of here. He's going to counter drop. He's not pulling home. He is pulling home. He's going to pull up his ramp. Okay. Oh, my Lord. Oh my lordy lord, dude. I could fight 26 10-year-olds. I could as well, paradoxical. I'd lose. If the 10-year-olds had no fear of bodily harm or sacrificing their lives, I think we'd lose for sure. 26. It's a lot of children. We're not talking about 5-year-olds. If they're 5-year-olds, I reckon I could take them. If I have a big enough arena, you know, I can run around and fight them a few at a time for sure. Marine's going to try and drop down that. Infestors are out now, though. Infestor and Ultra is a very good combo, because if you fungal those units, they can't get back in the medevac. And now Corruptors, Ultra Lingbane, Corruptor, Infestor. I mean, it's over, man. You ain't dealing with Ultra Lingbane, Corruptor with a pack of Marines. This is just... Taeja's... I'm pretty sure he's screwed. You don't have Liberators? How do you even deal with Ultras in Heart of the Swarm, guys? Yeah, I would be kiting the 5-year-olds if I was fighting them. That's the correct terminology, chat. You just need a choke point. So basically, you just had to use Marauders is what chat says. I think you just have to play Marauders against Ultras and just have a lot of stuff. Yeah. This is the old Ultralisk. It's a big chunky boy. It does get stuck behind your units. Oh, ow. Dude, that when you got creep on your doorstep like that, it doesn't feel good. Gonna go out on a limb and say, feels bad, man. Hellbat's trying to come down with the Marauders. Hellbat's wrecked the Zerglings, but oh my god, the SCVs are transferring into Banelings at the same time. Ultra Baneling Infestor Corruptor runs forward. Nice fungal. And a good pullback while the Zerglings do massive damage over on that third base. He's got Burrow, right? If he has Burrow, he could Burrow to block that base as well. Hide these units, bring him up later. Life, it feels like, should have a dominant position. Life has not spread a creep tumor on the left side of this map in like 10 minutes, by the way. This is the Life I remember. You know, a lot of people said Life is just too fast, too perfect. And I was like, no, he's not. Life was never a perfect player. Life was always an opportunistic player, a clutch player. More like a Dark and a Rainer than a Serral. If you want to go by modern comparisons, guys. Life was always, you know, he's always not doing things optimally. But my god, is he in your face constantly and looking for those openings with those Zerglings. And his micro great, his tactics are great. Understands when and where to gamble. And also doesn't cancel hatcheries, apparently. That's like the third hatchery that's died in this series when nothing else was really distracting him, but does not cancel it. Bit greedy, maybe, trying to keep that alive. If you just hidden a choke somewhere back in 2014, the Zerg would always A-move into the choke point and then complain that Ultras were terrible. That's actually true. Yeah, Twitch chat is reminding me right now. Wriggle, our internet historian, our StarCraft historian, he's basically reminding us that this was 100% the way it was. Zergs would just complain about Ultras while taking terrible fights. Banelings doing pretty well. To at least evacuate mining. Oh, if you just got one more on these SCVs, that would have been big. Actually, I think he has +3. Maybe you could one-shot them in the main? No. Broodlords are on the way, guys. Oh! Fungal lands on some Marines, but these Broodlords are morphing on the front line. He's going to have to A-move to defend them. He has to A-move to defend them. He tries to roll some Banes. He has to fight. You can't be leaving your Broods in the open. Oh, Life greedily morphs Broods in the middle of the map. And the Banelings are the Ultras are kind of getting hammered, man. Dude, did he forget Kindness Plating? I feel like these Ultras are dying faster than they should. Also, I don't think Life used separate control groups for any of his units. Life was a real scrappy player. I'm not even sure if he used camera locations. He was like a very... when you look at his play, you can see it's very kind of manual. And you can see like those Broodlords... Okay, now he tries to stutter step them, but a little bit too late. And dude, he's making this a bit closer than he probably should have by morphing those Broods in the middle of the map. This is awesome. Marauders also just had better damage back then, says chat. Did they? I don't know if that's true. Someone fact check that statement. I know they nerfed it at the start of Legacy by splitting the attack into 2 attacks, but they put them back into 1 attack now. Like the first year of Legacy, Marauders sucked, but I'm pretty sure Marauders at the moment are exactly the same as they were for 95% of StarCraft's history. Broodlord's coming, time to make siege tanks. Tanks are good on this map. I'm actually kind of a little surprised you didn't just make Marine tank from the start, because I feel like there are enough ledges you could do some good stuff. And oh! He does actually kill the Infestor. The Fungal was not well executed there. Burrow's done. He did make Kindness Plating in +3. I think Ultras might have only had 6 armor at this point rather than 7 in Heart of the Swarm. You guys could correct me, but maybe at this point in 2014, they only had like 6 armor, so Marines and everything does more damage to them. Yeah, that corner expansion gets sniped. Dude, is Taeja going to bring this back and win this game? Taeja was so dead. And guys, we got to realize, like, if I'm not looking at this with rose-tinted glasses, the players made more mistakes back then. And that's why it was partially more variable. Like, he's doing a Hon Mono on creep with Mass Marine right now with no medevacs. He's got Marine Viking. Single drop on the left side. Taeja's doing good damage. And he's actually ahead in supply, but he's also like deep on creep and like running into like fungals sometimes, and both sides are making mistakes, right? And it is chaotic. Now, obviously the players weren't as good. You've also got maps that are just crazy variable. They're cramped. More mistakes happen on small cramped maps. More mistakes happen on maps where it's all over the place. It's not as much of a standardized format, right? Oh, he doesn't pick up the banelings. Get the cleanup. That's huge. Vikings need to find those overlords. Dude, if those Vikings find the overlords, I don't think there's any queens left alive. Those Vikings could be doing it. And life has to GG. That fight was so tragic. Oh my gosh, that fight on the left watchtower was crazy, guys. Let's watch that one more time. Let's find when he... Look at what happened. He was up 60, 70 supply. He was up 70 supply and he threw this game. Did he detonate the banelings again, chat saying? Let's check. Where did all these banelings go? Did he detonate them twice in a row? Maybe I missed it. Maybe he did it, but it was mostly off camera? Or maybe he did it, it was on camera and I'm blind. Oh my god, he just did it. Remember, look at all these banelings that he pulled down to the left. Look at all those banelings that went off screen to the bottom left. Watch them on the minimap. Watch the blob and watch the supply right now. So watch these banelings. He's at 198, 197, and then he detonates every baneling. And he goes from 195 to 170 supply. He just detonated like 30, 40 banelings and threw all of his mutalisks away in one moment. Oh, it was another detonated baneling. 2 in a row. Oh my god, what a throw. He used to do this a lot. He had detonate on a really dumb key. I think it was X or something. Yeah, the default was X. Most players used standard hotkeys back in the day. That's so dumb. That is tragic. And he'd misclick it all the time. Yeah, I've done that myself. I very rarely do that anymore. That's crazy. Dude, you must be so tilted now. Was it really accidental or was it an intentional throw? Oh, this is early days. I don't think this was a throw. I think this was, yeah. All right, guys, going to the next game. Chat saying, was it intentional or was it a throw as we go to Habitation Station? I mean, it's a clever way of throwing is, in quotation marks, accidentally detonating your banelings like that. But doing that twice in a row seems too obvious. I don't think you'd do that. That's like kind of dumb. Doing it for one game, sure. But he was very clever to only ever throw individual maps in a series in the past. Throwing a second game here puts him in a position to lose the entire series. Now, maybe it's just there wasn't evidence and he was actually throwing series the whole time tactically. But you got to realize he's a potential winner of this entire tournament. He's a potential winner of this entire tournament. This is also early in the days when, maybe not early, but like middle of him still being a top player, because this is early 2014. You got to remember, he first won a tournament at the end of 2012. Late 2012 is when he won his first GSL. I think you go towards the end of 2014, early 2015, and I do think it's a bigger one. This was also the $100,000 prize pool tournament, winner takes all, which is a massive prize pool for the time. And they did it as a really weird, brutal format, which is so sad for the player who came second, third, fourth. But yeah, I think honestly, guys, he may have, yeah, he just made a big doo-doo in my opinion. Because I think it's easy to just make a few more sloppy mistakes and just lose the game. But I think if you're trying to throw a match, the last thing you're going to do, maybe I'm giving him too much credit, someone who did get caught for match fixing, but I feel like if you're going to throw a match, you don't plan to do one big thing to throw it. You just make a few dumb mistakes, like throughout the game, you know? Like you purposely get supply blocked here or there, or you accidentally click some units on move command past his army accidentally, but like using the same detonate baneling mistake a few times. I mean, it felt like he was fighting for his life in game one. And there was one detonate baneling that was definitely a doo-doo. But yeah, I don't know. Doing that twice in a row seems really stupid. All right, guys, this is a habitation station. There are gold bases in between the two players on the top middle of the map. Very dangerous bases. But if you get away with it, it is a gold base. I see a pool first expand here. So very early 3 queen opening for Mr. Life. Up against one Rax expand into a quick factory. And there is a Reaper waiting because he knows there's Lings hiding on the map. And he knows those Lings are going to try to run in. So he holds his Reaper back, does Taeja this time. He's like, nope, don't want that command center to be delayed. I know how my opponent plays. He's a tricky boy. He's a very tricky boy. So I got to be ready for that. Yeah, he was found to match fix single matches of a series in early bracket matches. Yeah, pretty much he would purposely lose like game 2 in a best of 3 or a best of 5, something like that, because people would have bet specifically on that match. Which is that's the easier way to throw matches, guys, because you don't actually hurt your chances of winning a tournament. That's how you do it. Not that I would condone it, obviously terrible behavior. Okay, so Tech Lab's on the way. Looks like it's going to be Hellion Banshee again. 2-3 Reaper into Hellion Banshee. Cool to see, because this is so similar to modern StarCraft, but you just see how much slower the build-up is, and then excuse me, how the players do, even with the mining lasting long in their bases, the players take a long time to get a 4th base. Takes a long time. Like, once they get that 3 base production, they're kind of just, okay, we're just pumping units off 3 base production. Takes them a long time to afford a 4th, to get Hive Tech, to get 3-3. It really is different here in Heart of the Swarm. Stim starts up there, nice and early. Takes a while to get Stim and then Combat Shields. Reaper's going to go for a scout, making sure he's not being all in. Taeja's really been on the money with just playing a solid macro game. Drones try to kill it, not quite able to get it. Link speed's only just started, and that Queen should take care of that Reaper. Nicely done. But no signs of an all-in. Lots of drones, no Ling speed, and I think Taeja feels relatively safe. Got to watch out for Ling run-bys. Got to try and delay the creep as the double Evo chamber comes in. 2nd and 3rd barracks goes down. You can see how Terran build orders had a lot of similarity. I didn't really pay any attention to Terran build orders, I got to be honest, guys. Back at this time, even though I was competing, I was a very simple player. Didn't really have great RTS understanding. I would just look at Terran builds to see what I needed to do to react and never really understand the intricacies of them. Probably would have been a much better player if I actually off-raced a fair bit and kind of understood the builds a bit more to look at the little discrepancies between them. But it is kind of fascinating to see, hey, by this point in 2014, you know, Reaper Hellion Banshee into Marine Medevac. That was a very solid way to play. Taeja was the gold standard of Terran build, says Rigolinium, and he was actually ahead of his time. So not many people had figured all this stuff out, but he was, you know, super solid. I mean, yeah, he's so good at using the mobility of the Hellion Reaper. He's scouting constantly. He's macroing really hard. It does feel like Taeja here has got some of the most solid TVZ in the entire world at this stage. Two more gases on the way. Lair's almost finished. 6 drones building. This is fascinating. 4th base goes down in the bottom left corner, which I think is much easier to defend 4th base, but Life does need to really push his creep out there. Yeah, I remember in Legacy of the Void, we were shocked by how early you could get a lair up. So that was when we first started actually sending Overlords forward to drop creep, to head start our creep really hard. He could do that in this game. If he had an Overlord down in the bottom middle of the map, he could actually, you know, send a Queen there. The moment the lair finishes, tell it to drop creep, throw 2 creep tumors, like all the way down, say, here guys, where my mouse is. And then you can have like a big head start on your creep spread, but no one was really doing that in 2014. I think Snoot was probably the first one to figure that out. Maybe he figured that out in 2015, just before Legacy came out. Spiner's on the way. It's going to be Ling Bane Muta. Ling's coming in right now. Depot does not get down in time to block that, and we're going to have to pull those SCVs away. Marines do defend. First few medevac, stim, shields, 1-1 upgrades, all going to be finished soon. 4th and 5th barracks on the way, and bunkers going down. I'd love to see Taeja send his first 2 medevacs and Marines actually down south to clear up these Zergling run-bys. You know Life's going to be in your face with those counterattacks. You better double down on your defenses, because Life is going to keep going at it. Baneling's coming in. Hellions are there, though. He did leave the Hellions, run the SCVs, and he's fine. If he doesn't run the SCVs and the Hellions, he could be in trubs. Oh, he gets rid of most of the Banelings, and I think he's actually okay. Yeah, good D, good D. And now he's going to F2 to the front. He's like, you know what? You just lost a lot of units. Oh, a bit slow on the hot pickup there, though. You can see Taeja was the gold standard of the micro at the time. Gold standard of the micro at the time is what I tried to say there and kind of fumbled that. But he did lose units every now and then to the Banelings, but it was in the midst of him doing so much so well that it seemed like it was A-okay. Oh my God, I don't know about this. He feels like he's got an advantage. He knows after that last trade that Life is like really low on units, and oh my gosh, he's just going to push for the win. He's like, this is what he was looking for on Heavy Rain. Remember after the Baneling detonate when he shoved on creep and almost lost that game? He senses weakness and he shoves. but he went a bit too far and he missed those forward creep tumors, which is a problem. I'd like to see him slow it down. I don't think there's any rush here for Taeja. You got your third up. You're pumping Hellbats. You got your 2-2 started. I mean, to be fair, 2-2 for Life is actually even further ahead. And Life is going 8 gases. 2-2 +1 flyer weapons. Trying to drone that 4th base a little bit as well. But he's going to need more Ling Bane. Taeja trying to push forward, rotating this army. Hard to deal with this, man. Like that he's got a few Widow Mines in the mix. I like that he starts with Widow Mines and then swaps to Hellbats. Really cool way to play here. And look at this ridgeline. Oh, I have nightmares about this ridgeline. It's bringing back memories. Decent first Widow Mine hit. Marine's trying to dance around. He picks up some of them. The Mutalisks, though, are going to potentially get some big snipes. Oh, he does accidentally move in on top of those Lings and Banes. And some slight miss micro for Taeja. He saves some units, but oh, it looks like Life's got this one. And he will be able to fight back in this series from way behind. Damn. Okie dokie, man. Down 0-2, but never count him out. The Clutch King, Life, now has complete control. He's just got a respread creep, which he doesn't have many queens right now. I think he only built 5 queens in this game. This is the old days when people only built 5 or 6 queens at most, remember. They didn't build nearly as many. And yeah, he's lost a few queens, but he's on 76 workers. If he can transfer those to the 4th, which, by the way, does he not set rally points to his 4th base? He's on 76 with like 6 to 8 more coming in. He's going up above 80 workers. That's a massive worker count. I don't think it makes sense. 4th Command Center is only now started for Taeja. Where do you take a 5th base? I guess you have to take the gold on this map or that bottom one. Life gonna launch forward on the map. 2-2 against 1-1. This is a nice window, guys. This is a nice window. Ooh, okay. He's gonna morph Banes on the front. He's gonna roll a few Banes in with his Mutalisk. He's doing the old Mutalisk Baneling roll in, where the Banelings force the Marines back, the Mutas pick off what they can, while the rest of your army stays back to make sure you don't expose yourself. The Baneling run by gets a pack of SCVs, the bunker's on fire, the turret's on fire, Taeja trying to defend, and that is just far too many Banelings. The Marines taking too long to spread, man. Those Marines need to be pre-spread. Oh, the Banelings absolutely hammering, and Life will not go down without a fight. I thought this was a 3-0, guys, because this video is ending. Oh, it's 1 out of 2. It is an epic series. Oh, it's okay. If I put this here and then I change that to 2 out of 2, that's gonna load, right? Or not there, sorry, but here. Yeah? Okay. How are we doing, guys? Were Banelings easy to kill back then? No. I mean, nowadays they're easiest to kill because they're only 30 hit points now with Bane Speed. They used to be 35. Oh, babies! How long till I have to play an ad break? Can I get away with it? I can get away with it. Dude, this series is long, I think. I haven't looked at the length of this video, but let's see how we go. Yeah, that's Rhett. That's Rhett, my friendos. All right, guys, going to the next game there. Taeja looks like he had maybe a bit of lockjaw there. Kind of rubbing the side of his face a little bit. Bit tense. As we go into Frost. Ooh, Frost, ladies and gentlemen. 4-player map. They have spawned both on the left side of the map, but you don't know where the opponent spawned. Luckily for Life, he is scouting in the direction of Taeja immediately. Overlord's a very long sight range. If he keeps that Overlord out of vision range, Taeja won't know the Overlord's seen him. But if the Overlord just continues in, it will give away his own spawn location. Very nice. Okay, so we got a hatchery in the bottom left. At the heart of the swarm, chunky bread. That is what we're doing. Hatchery first. 15 hatchery at 2 minutes and 11 seconds. Old school, baby. Ooh, command center first. Hello. Taeja mixing it up, guys. Taeja mixing it up. And you know what? This is the thing. Like, it's so important to have banter. Solo casting this game, way worse than solo casting. Modern Legacy, you can solo cast and just talk about the gameplay. But because there's this like slower build-up phase, it definitely is nice to have a co-caster you can vibe with, have a bit of banter, and bring up stats about the players and stuff like that. So I don't mind the early game build-up, as long as you do talk about those things. And it's obviously like, you know, if you only care about the highlights and the high moments, and it's like, you know, you might miss a lot of people miss the first 5 minutes of a sporting match, right? Because they're like, yeah, no one's going to score at the start. Like, it's fine if I'm a few minutes late to my seat, right? I think it's kind of the same with this. 3 hatchery. Hello, Taeja. Of course, going CC first. And Life says, let's match your greed with greed of my own. Now, he should build his queen on his natural before his main because you want to be injecting there to try and get it going. M06 says, in November 2016, centrifugal hooks got plus 10 hit points reduced to plus 5 a month later. Yeah, I don't think they actually added the plus 10 hit points until that time though, right? So I think these banelings were actually the same as the modern baneling, and these only had 30 hit points, right guys? Can Twitch chat check that one for me? You got that open, Mo, in the chat. I think the banelings here were 30 hit points only. They weren't the 35 hit point baneling that we had for most of Legacy. But you'll notice that Taeja is still not shooting them down because there's just too many units. He's not quick enough at focusing them. That's why I'm calling for more pre-splits for him. I truly believe pre-splitting his units is very important in this matchup. Life rallying a few lings out, looking maybe for a poke in, maybe try and surround. Is he going 8 Zerglings? He's going to try and surround the Marines just before the bunker finishes. Taeja reacts quickly, he'll be fine, but I'll tell you what, players weren't as fast back then, guys. They were not as fast. He needs to pull the Marines back and pull SCVs, run away. Oh, he's trying to bait him? Oh, you needed to go already, Life. Life waited too long, man. Life waited too long. Too fancy. Too fancy. I think he could have run in there and maybe got some damage. But he gets a bit too fancy. The Lings are going to run away. And now it's Hellion and Starport production. It's only off 2 command centers, keep in mind. It's going to take a while to get that 3rd command center. But interesting to see how this matches up against the gasless 3 hatchery player. And you'll notice Life, you might think he's supply blocked there, but not really. He's going to have an Overlord pop soon. Takes the double gas at 6 minutes. Seems wild, but remember, of course, the game timer is different. It's more like 4 minutes, 4.5, something like that. Marines pushing the Overlord back. Cloak does start. And I imagine we're just going to see a 3rd command center again, right? He's kind of shown he has a certain style he wants to play. Says, this is the way to play. My name is Taeja. It's Hellion Banshee 3cc into just bio. It's a good way to do it. It's a 30% faster. So yeah, about 6 minutes would be about 4 minutes, chat says. Fair call, fair call. All right, Roach Warren on the way, as well as a 3rd gas. I wouldn't mind Life doing a big Roach timing. What do you guys think? He's going to go double Evo. And a Roach Warren. Hello. No faith in the Queens to defend. I guess people hadn't really figured out the Queen defense at this point. Like Snoop probably had by mid-2014, I think. But I don't think it had truly caught on, where Life is still just trying to play like a 4 to 6 queen at most. Maybe only 5 queens, you know. He's really trying to stay minimalistic on the queens and defend with more mobile units. Chat says queens were worse back then. I mean, were they? I know they got +1 range and then had it removed later against anti-air, but I think they're exactly the same versus ground, which is the main concern, and they were still good versus air. So I don't think that range makes a huge difference. Stefano was the queen spammer. I know Stefano spammed queens in Legacy. I don't know if he spammed queens so much in Heart of the Swarm. I could be wrong on that. They did have the old transfuse as well. 125 hit point instant heal, guys. None of this healing over time garbage. I think it's more about 50% faster because in Legacy, it's 5 bases in 10 minutes. No, we're not talking about the base count, guys. We're just talking about the actual game timer ticks at a different time. See how it goes 55, 56, 57, 58. You'll notice that's faster than a second. It's a 1.4 conversion, apparently. 1 second of real time is 1.4 of these seconds. So just so you know, that's what we're talking about. Yeah. Whereas they've changed it back to be real time now. Yeah, with that slower worker start, obviously where the game gets to at what point to compare, it's hard to line it up because it's kind of different. Banshee's coming in, getting itself some drone damage. 4 more barracks are on the way. 1-1. Lair, 2 more gases. I'm really looking forward. I'm just enjoying this so much. I'm pretty sure this is going to YouTube. So if you guys are on YouTube, say hi. Let me know how you've enjoyed it. And also, if you could do me a favor, go back and delete the 400 comments you guys have already put about the quality being bad. Pig, why is the quality so bad? I'm pretty sure I'll have a disclaimer at the start of the video. I'll be like, guys, I know the quality's not going to be great, I know there's no... Where's the game sound? Why are you casting it without game sound, Pig? Obviously, we're casting off a for YouTube video, but, you know. Hello to everyone who's already posted those comments. You can edit and say, I love the sound. I like it with no game sound. Your voice is beautiful. Also, the visual quality is unmatched. I love that you're recording in 1440p, an original video that was clearly put up in a bitrate of like 1500. I wish I could improve it. I do wish I could. Unfortunately, you can't load replays from these old days either, so there's no way to watch this stuff in client. Double drop coming in. Girdling Roach counterattack. Dude, he likes these random Roach counterattacks. Did well for him on Yonsu. Actually, it didn't do well. I mean, he got way ahead on Yonsu despite it not doing well, right? Which I'm still confused about, by the way. I really want to have access to more numbers here. The Ling Run is doing good here. Widowmine does hit the Roach. It barely survives. Marine Alien counterattack. Taeja cancels the 4th and pushes forward. The Lynx with some Banes and Queens do force the hot pickup. Great micro by Taeja, though. I think he loses like 6 SCVs. He's 62 against 81. Life, what are we doing? Dude, Life over drones so much. How many times in these series have we seen him on like 80 drones on 3 base? Keep in mind, the minerals were placed less consistently. Something I haven't talked about yet and I should really mention. You actually did get a bit better value back in the old days because the minerals were inconsistent for your extra workers. So if you had like 75 workers on 3 base, you actually got decent benefit from that extra 10 workers, right? Whereas in the modern day, you'll get less benefit from that because the minerals are more standardized. Does end up defending, but he needs this 4th base. I feel like just take the 4th base in the bottom right side is better. A lot of Zergs would complain about this sort of spawn being unfair, but if you're playing Mutalisks, obviously you should take the base in the bottom right. Like, the way Live's playing here is kind of dumb, guys. I'm going to go out on a limb and say it doesn't make sense. Take the bottom right side base. Like, you're never going to defend a hatchery that expands towards a Terran, and he's just going to die for it. I can't believe it. I really thought he had enough supply here, but I guess he's got such a big worker advantage. He just doesn't have Banelings. Taeja stimming with confidence. Is this beyond? Is this beyond? Oh, man. I mean, the Marines did finally get broken there, but he's still got Widow Mines on the front. You can see a little hold position there for Life. Didn't think many people used hold position at this time, but I guess he did. Very nice. Yeah, you want to go to that bottom right corner, guys. And I think taking this base is a big mistake for Life. I do still think, 80 workers is still too many. 75 you could argue for on 3 base, but 80 is a lot. And unfortunately, with no Baneling speed for so late, I mean, 14 minutes, no Baneling speed, he must have just forgot to click that upgrade, right? But opening the Roaches into the Banes, it's such a weird style. It can work, but as the upgrades start to scale, those Roaches aren't getting attack upgrades. Marines focusing down Banelings as best they can. Taeja's only even on supply, but a lot of that is Roach supply, which is making things a bit awkward right now. Life, can he hold on and fight back? I keep thinking these games are over, and they're just not. This is awesome. Dude, Heart of the Swarm StarCraft was pretty good. Quite unpredictable. I also like, as much as I'm like, I miss having more info as a caster to tell you the exact story. It's not bad having less information. I don't mind it. Like, it does create a bit more suspense. There's a few more unknowns. I don't mind a little bit of suspense. I've talked about this in the past. I wouldn't mind casting with like no production tab even sometimes. And I know people get very aggressive whenever I say, like, no, F you. More information's always better. I don't think more information's always better. I do think the production tab is pretty good for telling us what the players are aiming for in the game. So losing that would be pretty big. But I don't think more information is always better. I would argue not necessarily. Roachbane rolling forward. Nice Marine pullback. Taeja. The Ling Run by is going to cause him problems. The Hellbat's just going to have to be back to the front. There's no Banelings though. Big God, these Marines, man. The Baneling Cocoons are quite tanky. Remember the Roaches and the Lings trying to come forward. He's got Lings in the main as well. Life's doing big counter damage. If he can hold on here, if he holds onto this 4th, he might have this. He's got so many Roaches out front. Roaches and Lings coming forward. The Thor starting to gun those down. SCV Chaos in the main base. Life supply starting to take off. Taeja does get a nice Widow Mine there, taking out not nearly as many Zerglings as you'd expect, man. These Widow Mines sucked. Dude, these Widow Mines really sucked. This was a dark time for Terran. Did you see that Widow Mine? Those Zerglings were so clumped and it killed like 4. What the hell? I can see why he's not building more Widow Mines, guys. Just a few in the early stage. These don't do anything. SCV's starting to go down. Oh me, oh my. SCV's starting to fall. Life just punching his way out of the grave. Obviously, 3-3 is miles ahead for Terran because he did have an early momentum lead. Let's see what he can do. Lings with a surround on a Thor. That's a juicy pick off. 26 10-year-olds. Absolutely smash the Chad Thor down. Really nicely done. The speed off creep was way worse back then, and the DPS was 8+2 versus ground. Now it's 11.2 plus 2.8. Wait, what? Wait, the Queen was even slower off creep back then. Oh, right. You're saying because at some point the Queen was useless off creep. Wasn't that Wings of Liberty though? I didn't think that was Heart of the Swarm. I thought that was Wings of Liberty when they made the Queen move faster off creep. I didn't think they changed the damage numbers. I remember they changed her movement speed off creep a little bit at some point. Ah, someone's reading the numbers wrong in chat. They're reading the DPS in old time versus the DPS in new time potentially. Ooh, Twitch chat's going to solve this for us because people are arguing about whether the Queens were worse back then. I don't think they were. I think they were the same. Except for only having 7 anti-air range, which became 8 at some point, but is back down to 7 now. Massling, Bane, Overwhelm, Taeja, gonna get overrun. Oh wait, that's a lot of Marines on the top right. He might actually hold. The fact that he wasn't in position actually kind of helps him. Oh, it helps him keep his army alive, but he loses his 4th command center, so no, it does not help him at all. He loses the 4th command center. Life doing really, really well here. Up 30 supply now. +2 vehicle weapons coming in. Taeja desperately. If he can get rid of that 4th, I can't believe Life hasn't taken a 5th in the bottom right. If he takes a 5th, he can give up this base. I don't know why we're fighting to hold that base. Oh my lord. But I mean, his counterattacks are brutal. Dude, Taeja, another Thor gets surrounded. But Life hasn't run drones away from his own base. Life needs to pull back. He cannot fight this army just yet. He just needs to keep those Banelings morphing at home. Oh, he's got him. He gets a 3rd command center. He just needs to avoid fighting at home. Do not fight at home, and you have this in the bag, Life. Life has this in the bag. That ball of Marines will not beat him. He doesn't even have creep connecting his bases. What the hell? Life didn't connect his bases with creep. The chaos of this game getting to him. The Banelings all go down. Nice surrounds. The Banelings getting shot down. The 38-point Banelings and Roaches and Lynx can't do it. Taeja is winning this fight. Life. He shouldn't have taken that fight. He should have waited to be on creep. Wait for him to get on creep, and then he could have won it. But he doesn't. Life may have just thrown this game and this series. He just took a bad fight. He needed to be more patient. He has Taeja dead to rights. Taeja's on like 20 SCVs, 2 bases mining. One of them's the main base, which is now floating down to his 3rd. But the moment you lose that fight, oh, the Marines are going to pick up. Wait, Mutas coming in. They get a medevac. They're going to go for another medevac. They kill it with a bunch of Marines inside. The Mutalisks trying to fight, but they are heavily damaged. Marines take down 1 Mutalist. They take down 2. They take down 3 Mutalisks. The Mutas falling back. Oh my god. What the hell, dude? Life, the Throwmaster. He was in such a good spot, but he took such a bad fight, not connecting his bases with creep as well. No way. Oh my lord. Oh my lordy lord. Taeja is on 22 workers. Life's on 47, but I think with mules and the fact that you don't have a 4th base, it's fine for Terran income. Banelings coming forward. Marines. If he gets this base, it's game over. Life has to defend. The last Baneling gets focused down. Mutas cannot beat Marines and Medevacs. Pulling away from the Spore Crawler. Held back with Blue Flame in the mineral line. 3 more Banelings coming down. The Mutas trying to get transfused. Great micro for Life. Does it matter? Banelings! Oh my god! Wait! Oh my god, is he gonna do it? The Medevac already used its boost to dodge the Spore. He's got to unload. He saves the Thor at the last second. Thor gets a big shot off on the Mutalist. Mutalist pulling back right now. More Marines arriving. Oh my lord. 2 dudes stabbing each other in the throat right now. I don't know whose esophagus can handle more pain right now. It's dead even supply. Down to the wire. 60 supply against 60 supply. Life keeps his 3rd alive. What? His mineral income sucks, though, because Taeja just dumped mules after floating the command center there. And yeah, Life just took too much damage. I don't think he... Unless... Ling run by. Widowmine. Oh, the Widowmine gets a boom. Widowmine gets a good boom there. I don't think Burrow got upgraded. Those Lings are going to go down. Life can't afford that. This command center is going to float down to the 3rd. Life should have expanded to the bottom right side of this map. It's crazy that he did not, guys. If you spread creep well... and are using Mutiling Bane, there's no way... Yes, it's hard to defend that base in the bottom right. But I mean, if you just have good map control, how dangerous is it to send drops to the bottom right as a Terran against a Mutalist player? And yeah, I remember being on this map pool and I would have done the exact same thing as life at this time. And I think the reason is we were stupid. I think we were stupid and we'd have too many times where we would just be bad at map control. We'd let a drop sneak by, a double drop, snipe that base and the 20 drones on it while we were out of position. And we'd go, nope, can't take the bottom right. It's this one here. Can't take it, too exposed. Too hard to defend. And it's like, but you think about it, this just shows, I think, how little perspective we had on our opponent's point of view. If you think about it from the Terran's point of view, it's a nightmare attacking to that area. Sneaking a drop down there is impossible. If you put some overlords on that right side of the map, some zerglings patrolling and stuff, like you're absolutely going to spot those drops and get free kills on medevacs filled with Marines, which is potentially game winning. Taeja's going to push in right now, and it looks like he's got the numbers. He's just got too much. Life goes for GG there. The reason they type WW is the W is where the Korean G key is on the keyboard, guys, or, you know, for their GG. And Taeja wins a fantastic game. Dude, this is awesome.
Eliminates Life and extends his winning streak against Artel Life.
What an incredible performance by Taeja, as well as Life. These guys put on an amazing show.
Dude, their matches were always good. What a trip down memory lane. Shout out to Katowice 2024 for being such a cool event. And 2014, I mean. And just a nice trip down memory lane. I did not mind the slow build-up at all in these games. The first game or two, I'm like, oh, this is a bit boring. But then I got used to it really well. Now, obviously, their series are always fantastic. And it's Zerg vs. Terran, one of the more action-packed series. You can look at, I think, ZVP and also the mirror matchups not being nearly as exciting as this back in the day. So I wouldn't say this is an example of what all StarCraft matches were back in 2014. But this was kind of a peak age of StarCraft in terms of, I think, the excitement of the gameplay and the Zerg vs. Terran especially matchup being just so much back and forth fun, despite Terran being very, very weak at that point in time. Anyway, thanks for watching, everybody, and we'll catch you guys next time. GG, well played. Let me know your thoughts on whether or not you like this version of StarCraft better, and are you open? What are your thoughts on going back to a 6-worker start? Because I've been thinking about it after I post this video, and I'm like, maybe. I think it would actually be really fun to try it. So I might host some tournaments on a 6-worker mod with current maps, current balance, and just see what the hell it looks like. Thanks for watching, everyone. We'll see you next time. Goodbye and good night.